focusing on empowering others instead of just being, you know, feeling like the smartest person in the room. But instead of driving them harder, I kind of like pause. Let's regroup with the team. I mean, knowing the company you're applying to and what they do, really go into deep research. It's not just checking their website.
Hey everyone, welcome to the ChinUp Career Podcast. My name is Nidal Khaznadar, a career coach, HR professional, and founder of ChinUp. This podcast is all about sharing the best practices, sharing strategies, and expert insights. The aim is to help professionals like you land their dream jobs and grow their careers. All right. So today I'm excited to welcome a special guest, Feras Nabulsi, the digital product design lead at Accenture. Thank you for joining us, Firas, and welcome to this podcast.
Thank you, Nidal, and thank you, China, for having me. This is a great opportunity. Great experience knowing Nidal for a long time, and I really look forward to this podcast.
Absolutely. All right. So today we're gonna explore the top strategies for landing dream jobs and experience from a leader about leadership and how to excel in leadership as well. So let's dive in. Now, Firas, can you share with us the story of how you landed um, a major role in your career?
Very good. So a major career, I definitely would consider it's my current position at Accenture. So I've been with the company for a little over 12 years. The way coming into the company was fairly unique. I didn't apply and get a call on the first application. I probably went through maybe six, seven at least times before I finally got a call. Um, so at the time, when it was an opportunity for me to kind of like make a bit of a switch in my career, I applied for a design position. Now, given the fact that for many years prior to that, yes, I started my career in design, but that the natural path that you move into development. So the recruiter still felt there's a value, there's something maybe that was interesting for him that he saw in my application. So we talked about it, but his advice was, look, you have a very impressive resume, but it feels like it's more of a fit for development simply because your most recent experience was in development, web application development, more than design. But his advice was come in let's just switch the application that you're applying for a different position. You have better chances to get to the second and third interview and so on. So use that. And then once you're in the company, definitely find there's a lot of opportunities where you can find that path that you can go back into design. So it was a very unique time. Early 2013 was when everybody was looking for user experience designer. So I still kind of took that path, came in as a developer, and within 1 year, actually, if not less, I was immediately working on design projects.
Awesome. So in this case, Firas, so people can apply for positions that are different than what exactly they're looking for, but then they find their path in that company, right?
Considering it's consulting, it's very possible. Maybe
Right.
in different industries, maybe it's not as possible, but in
Got it.
consulting, there's, the expectations is that you come in and you learn, and that's kind of how we've been trained for the last 12 years. And every day there's new evolving technologies that we learn on a spot. So the expectations is that be ready for a change, have that open mind that you're going to learn something new, maybe do some pivots in your career that will allow you to be successful.
Got it. Now, Firas, you've been in leadership at leadership level and leadership positions for a while now. What leadership lessons have stayed with you throughout your career, and how have they shaped the way you work today, especially with a big company like Accenture?
Yeah. So, of course, we learn from mistakes. I didn't come into my role as a leader. I moved my way up, but some of the things that I learned either from experience or also from seeing my leads possibly not giving some opportunities, but I basically took the best of it. I took it as a learning experience. So the first lesson I would say it's probably like listen more than you talk. The
Hmm.
teams, when you're working with a team, you want to give them the feeling that they are being heard. That gives them automatic ownership in the work that they're doing. So when they feel heard, they can definitely flourish. They can do their best because they feel that ownership and accountability in anything they deliver. The other one I would say probably like lead by clarity, not control. When you give your team members the why and you explain to them the big picture, it is more effective than micromanaging. By telling them the how to do the job. You're
Hmm.
hiring someone who supposedly knows, have the experience, they're trained, they're educated in that field, that they're going to do their best in that field. So give them that guidance, the support they need, rather than just telling them how to do it. I mean, otherwise, if they're not going to do it, then we're not
Hmm.
all going to do the same at work. But it's just really from the experience, you're going to give them that guidance. So both really like they really shape how I work today, focusing on empowering others instead of just being, feeling like the smartest person in the room. That's really not the goal here for any person
Hmm.
working within a team.
I like what you said, Firas, that you need to not just direct them or give them some directions. You need to support them, right? So, what kind of support you find it very important and helpful for your team um, to, to to provide?
Yeah. So the one thing is, every person has strengths in certain things.
Hmm.
They might have interest in certain things they want to learn. And I definitely, one of the first conversations I have with my team, whether it's a project base or if it's just an ongoing relationship within the company, really, that kind of goes back to make sure that you listen, understand their strengths, what is it that they are interested in doing, and just once you know what their goals are, you could definitely help them figure out that path. Many people who are junior that come into any role, they don't know how to navigate their way to move up the ladder or to learn something new. So it's definitely providing them that support and guidance. Just do a regular check-ins with them to just how
Right.
are things going? Are you struggling with anything? So you just basically keep that conversation going to make sure that they are feeling supported.
Got it. Got it. Yes, I would appreciate if my boss would always check on me and say, "Hey, can I support you with anything? Do you need my help?"
Yeah.
That would give me the courage to ask them, right? Every time, not to like bother them all the time, but they're flexible. They open the door for me to ask them anytime I need them. Now, in your view, as a leader in a leadership position for us, what are the key qualities that make someone stand out as a leader in their field?
So look, usually when I work with my teams, I basically put titles aside.
Hmm.
I don't
Love
consider,
it.
hierarchy within a company. It really means it doesn't mean much to me. I might be working with someone who is more knowledgeable in one area than I am. So humility is really just it really keeps me approachable. It opens, it makes me open to also learning from others, no matter like what your title is. Also, resilience helps you navigate any setbacks or any struggles that you might have within your role. But it also kind of like you could be more of a role model for steadiness for your team. You stand behind their back, you're supporting them, and you're always there basically to kind of like make sure that they don't fall into any traps or don't get stuck into any setbacks. And then I think probably like maybe the vision. I would say like the vision provide
Hmm.
the direction, inspiration that encourage people so they can stretch beyond any like obvious solutions. And I say solutions, it's really like on our projects, we're always working toward a solution, right? But we basically want to make sure that they stretch their capabilities see what they can do, not keep them limited. And that hopefully would be a great impact for them and then for the project that they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Firas, you talked about setbacks and challenges. Now, our careers are full of challenges, right? And
Yeah. Mhm.
and including leaders in leadership positions as well. What was one of the hardest challenges you faced in your career, and how did you overcome this challenge?
So I want to say probably like maybe one of
Unless you
no, no,
haven't
no. I'm
faced
totally fine.
any challenge.
I'm very transparent. Look, I think and that happens all the time. It's not
Mm,
just something that's super unique, but I would say like maybe one of the toughest moments in my career was like leading a team through like a really high stake project and under very unclear requirements and very tough deadlines. The pressure could have easily pushed us into a burnout. And that's something I always avoid getting my team through it. But instead of driving them harder, I kind of like pause. Let's regroup with the team. Let's just make sure that we have clarified priorities. Let's break them into more manageable phases. And whenever we finish any of these phases, make sure that we celebrate those small wins, no matter how small they are, because it really keeps the team motivated. It helps them kind of do even better on the next phase. So the approach it didn't only keep me on track, but also it strengthens the trust. It makes sure there's alignment internally and then also with our project leads or clients. And then also that improves the confidence in our ability to deliver under pressure.
got it. Now, for us, we talked at the beginning of this podcast. We talked about how you found the one of your main jobs and roles in your career. Now, let's talk a little bit about job opportunities and the way that looking for jobs. So, when you look back, um, for us, what strategies helped you the most, let's say, when preparing for job opportunities?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, knowing the company you're applying to and what they do, really go into deep research. It's not just checking their website.
Hmm.
Check their mission, understand their vision, what their goals are. Um, I mean, even to a point where just understand what kind of challenges that I might experience, maybe through hearing it from like doing some of your research. If you check on different social media places, Glassdoor, any basic reviews about the company, because you want to make sure that you're applying for a company that really will support you and then just kind of like aligns with your goals as well. So when I do the research of about the company, I want to make sure that it aligns with my story and how I'm going to show my skills and experience. And then are they able to going to support me? Instead
Hmm.
of just like listing my achievements to them in an application, I basically like frame them as stories. I highlight the problem. And then even if I were to do this like internally, not necessarily within my application, because I'm still in the searching phase that led me to that opportunity. But basically, like I want to make sure that I am clear when I'm talking to them, but that I highlight some of the problems that I worked on and what my approach was and how we were able to achieve certain outcomes with any project or anything that we worked on. So I kind of like take storytelling as a way to kind of like keep
Hmm.
keep them engaged. They could probably relate a little bit better. So I use the storytelling through experience. Not only it didn't only make my work more relatable, but also it helped me build a stronger connection with the decision makers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you reminded me about a report that I read last week, Friday, and the report is about jobs in the United States, and it was
Mm.
clear that the unemployment rate is going up and the market is tough and it's not easy to find jobs these days. So how should job seekers for us position themselves to stand out in today's competitive market?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, I mean, employers today are looking beyond just immediate skills. I mean, some people might look at a resume or or a job description and they say, I don't have all the skills.
Mm,
I wouldn't be concerned if you don't have all the skills. I think what employers are looking, especially with how fast-paced many of these companies are working, the evolving technologies that are coming out every day. I mean, maybe some of the skills that you might have listed on your application or in your resume might be outdated by tomorrow. So what they want is like they really want to see adaptability and their ability to grow within those emerging technologies. It's not just about what you can deliver right now. It's how can you evolve and grow alongside everybody within the organization. Um, because these tools are going to change, the skills, the technologies, everything is going to change. So demonstrating this, really, showing that, it shows like more of a portfolio
hmm
that kind of highlights not just the work, but also the context, the challenges, the outcomes. Um, one of the things that I always, whenever I talk to any students or people who are coming into the field new, I said, let me look at your portfolio.
hmm
The employers don't want to see the final results. They want to know how you got there. So they want to
Wow.
understand, or they want to make sure that you understand the process. You
hmm
start with research, you define your approach, you prioritize some of the deliverables that you're going to be working on, and eventually you will get to the final product, which basically that's going to be the beautiful product that pretty much replicates what's going to be a live website or a mobile app. So any of these. So understanding how you contributed, how you collaborated with the team, and what impacts were created, what differentiators might have been, and what you delivered. This is really what they want to see, not just the final product or list of skills that you obtained over the years.
Amazing. I like this point. This is new to me, by the way. I need to teach it to my
Yeah,
clients. That's very important, which is like show them how you got there, not only the results.
right.
Now, for us knowing you for a while, I know that you are someone who would uh, prioritize networking and a professional relationship, and I see you in many events and that's awesome. I don't know how you manage your time. Where do you find time to attend all of these events? But I really church you for this. This is very important. Now, being someone who would go and show up and attend a lot of these meetings and like networking events, everything. What I'm sure you are very convinced um, about the importance of networking. What role do networking and building professional relationships play in landing the right job?
Yeah. Um, Look, networking has always been it was very pivotal in my career. The most meaningful opportunities didn't come from cold applications or just, applying to a job here and there, but it's really from relationships that you build over time. It's not just a way to collect contacts, just because you hit the connect on LinkedIn or you put someone's phone number,
You're
unless
done.
you take the extra effort. Unless you put the effort that you continue that relationship, how are you going to add value? Just kind of listen from others' experiences and just like learning from them. It really like helps you focus on building really genuine connections rather than just asking for favors. I mean, and many times you might reach out to someone, say, "Hey, do you mind referring me to a position?" To be honest with you, I hate it when someone just reaches out to me. It's like, "Can you refer me to a position?" Truth is, if I don't know who you really are and whether you are going to make me proud that I actually referred you to the company. Tell me a little bit about more about yourself. So these kind of contacts, honestly, like I feel they're not as valuable to them. Not just, get to know me, ask me questions about the company. Don't just ask for a referral. But utilize your network. Definitely continue to meet more people, look for opportunities, meetups, things on LinkedIn. Any of this, I think it's always beneficial.
Sure, sure, sure. And I always echo any advice that would encourage people to network. Believe me, even for us in a business, our relationship networking, uh, this skill is bringing more revenue, more growth to my company. So imagine
Mhm.
that about that's on the business side. Imagine for the even employment and job seeking side. Now, for us, if you were starting, let's say, your career search today, what would you do differently compared to when you first started looking for jobs?
Yeah. I think I would probably, maybe that wasn't as available to me back then, but let's say, like you said, if I'm starting today, I would definitely focus a lot earlier on building a strong digital presence.
Oh.
Basically, like, share your insights, showcase some projects that you've worked on, engage in any professional communities online. Um, I mean, one example I could use, I mean, if you were to read some article anywhere, or if you read something on LinkedIn, um, don't just repost. A
Mhm.
repost is great. Maybe it's just showing that you read but add to that your insights, your perspectives, your point of view on the article, whether you want to summarize it or maybe just like your own point of view, sharing it, and then basically attaching the original article that was shared. I think this really adds value to showing that I learned something, or I'm already have experience and I have my point of view that you wanted to share. So I think look like a visible personal brand really like goes further and faster,
Mhm.
and kind of like shows, it shows credibility, and it really opens door for opportunities. You may not be even actively looking. I mean, I've heard of so many people that they get many jobs not through applying to a position. They might be reached out to, so it's like, hey, we have this open position. Would you be interested in applying to? So why? Because they saw your activity on social media, LinkedIn, your network, and so on. So I
Mhm.
would definitely leverage this, and I would have done it much sooner if I could.
Absolutely. For us, from your position as a leader, what advice do you have for professionals who want to move into leadership positions?
Okay. Um, I don't see leaders as someone who's necessarily in a high position.
Mm.
Yes, we use that leadership as someone who's in a higher position, but leadership really is not tied to a title. You could be a junior designer or developer, anything in your type of position you're in, but you could be a leader. You start this by being a good be a good influencer,
Mm.
accountable, how you can help others succeed. You can show leadership by leading some initiatives, even if it was through volunteer work. Look for opportunities where you can mentor peers, or even stepping up to bring any clarity in a complex situation. These small actions, they really demonstrate your ability to guide and inspire,
Mhm.
which naturally paves the way toward for eventually formal leadership roles.
Right. I like the idea of leadership is not a title, right? You can be a leader, and with your entry level, let's say, position, when you
Yeah,
just demonstrate the leadership skills. Now, for us, the last question here is what is one piece of career wisdom you wish you had known earlier that could help our audience today?
sure. My career evolved over time. So my advice is don't wait for the perfect role that will
Hmm.
define your role, your career. Your career is really shaped by how you show up every position you have or any role that you take on, every experience, even the ones that seem very small or temporary, they really add to your growth and they build a very good foundation toward leadership. Over time, those consistent contributions become a story for your career. So don't pause. Definitely have a goal, work toward it, but don't get stuck if there's a lot of obstacles in your way.
Awesome. All right. So, um, very interesting. I learned too many things from you, Firas, today. We learned about leadership, and you said listen more than you talk, lead by clarity, not control, set titles aside, resilience, have a vision. This is for leadership positions in general for professionals, people looking for jobs. Use storytelling when you look for jobs. Show them how you got there, not only results. Don't wait for the ideal role. Have goals and make sure you achieve them. Thank you so much, Firas, for sharing your insights with us today. It was a great conversation, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Nidal. Great to be here.
Alrighty, have a wonderful day.
Thank you too.